We are back. We are back on Premier League week. Premier League that was played midweek. Para esos que no saben, for those that don't know, esto es pase ambidiestro, ambidextrous pass, fútbol honestamente, soccer football honestly. Premier League that is on match day 29. A Premier League that has been on the talks of having quality, having the product, and the adaptation for some clubs on how the game is being played now. But overall, this Premier League is always competitive, it's marketed well, it's top of the line football, it has the quality, it has the product. But going back into quality, the quality is not being distributed the right way. The product is there for this Premier League. The product is there, competitiveness, the players, the clubs, the history is there. The product is there, but the quality is not being distributed well due to how teams have acquired new strategies and how some teams are forced to adapt to those strategies. Certain clubs push certain strategies, and the opponents have to adapt to be able to defend against those specific strategies. But this Premier League is lacking quality at the moment. That has been talked about. I'm not the only one that has been talking about it. I'm not the only one that has emphasized it. Uh, but this Premier League is lacking quality. It's not giving what we are used to. But overall, the product is there. It's just how the transition of from last year to this year, how the game has changed due to certain clubs, big clubs, adapting to certain strategies, and opponents have to adapt to that strategy to be able to play against that. And one of the perfect clubs to talk about on this is Arsenal. Arsenal has been a club that is trying to manage even the smallest detail when it comes to, you know, slowing the game down if it's at a high rate game where pressure is on, where Arsenal's winning by one. They try to slow the game down, the momentum, and they try to, as a team, they try to hold the game. There is parts of the game that you can do this, but then there is the part of the game where you can do it and then people and the fans and the audience and everybody notices that you are taking an extra step that is looking obvious on you trying to slow down the momentum of the game and you trying to conserve your win, your advantage, your 1-0, in other words. But the quality is not being distributed the right way due to how these different strategies have come about in this 25-26 season. But overall, the Premier has the product, the players, the clubs, the history is there. It's marketed well. This Premier League is marketed well. But in this Premier League, we are now in match day 29. It was Premier League that was played midweek. And in this Premier League, we're going to jump right into it. We saw Arsenal extend their lead at the top of the table, 6 points with a 1-0 win over Brighton, while Manchester City lost ground following a 2-2 draw against Nottingham Forest. The battle for European sports shifted significantly as Chelsea trashed Aston Villa 4-1 and Newcastle defeat Manchester United 2-1, while Liverpool suffer a setback with a 2-1, a very surprising 2-1, a 2-1 that came about the last minute of the game. Lost at Wolves. And in the relegation fight, you have Tottenham, who have dropped to 16th, just 1 point above the drop zone after a 3-1 defeat at home against Crystal Palace, that are currently in their 11th consecutive match. And Crystal Palace, they have not had the best season They started strong and then they stood mid-table, and now they seem to be able to pick up some type of rhythm. But Tottenham just they're in the 11 consecutive match without a win. So this is really hard for Tottenham as a club, Tottenham players, but mostly the fans. The sport is what it is thanks to the fans, the people who every weekend, every day, they stop and watch and they go to these games and they take a little bit of their time to go and support these players. That's who is has it the hardest. The people who support and push the players, the club, for what the clubs are and who the players are. It is really a hard situation Tottenham is in, and at the same time, it just seems like there's a dark cloud over this Tottenham. But we're gonna dive straight into Premier League, this Premier League that started with started on Tuesday. We had a few games on Tuesday. Then we had a few games on Wednesday and Thursday. There was only one game, which was Tottenham against Crystal Palace. But this Premier League starts with a Bournemouth against a Brentford, a game that ended 0-0 in a defensive stalemate at the Vitality Stadium. Neither side could break the deadlock despite Bournemouth's late flurry of chances. The result keeps Brentford safely in the top half, while Bournemouth continues to struggle for consistency in the final third. The match was characterized by disciplined tactical setups that cancel each other out for the full 90 minutes. Bournemouth managed 13 shots, but only 2 on target. Brentford recorded their 7th clean sheet of the season. And for Brentford, they recently confirmed that head coach Keith Andrews has signed a new long-term contract. They have been playing well. They have been putting a fight. They are a mid-table team at the moment, and they have shown to be able to give some sort of fight. We have a Bournemouth that is in the 9th place, and we have a Brentford that is in the 7th place. Then moving on, we have a Everton against a Burnley. And Everton that won at home 2-0. Everton eased their relegation fears with a 2-0 victory over Burnley at Goodison Park. Goals from veteran defender James Tarkowski and summer signing Kieran Dewsbury Hall secured the 3 points for Everton. Burnley, meanwhile, registered 5 shots, only 2 on target, and remain deep in the relegation zone in 19th place. Everton has 43 points in 8th place now, and Burnley has 19 points, 19th place. Burnley that looks like they have a chance to get out of here, but in reality, they are exactly 9 points away from 18th place West Ham, who is tied in points with Nottingham Forest. So it's really tight. You gotta catch up 9 points and make sure that these teams don't get no more points, so you can have that chance to get out of the relegation zone. But Burnley has been having a really on and off, not the best of consistency, and when it seemed like they were picking up, they just crumbled down right again. But Everton takes the win on this one, and they are mid-table, so they are in secure area. They don't have to really worry. They just have to make sure that they keep on bringing the wins to stay where they are and have aspirations for Champions League. That must mean that they have to win to have aspirations for Champions League, or at least Europa League. But then moving on, we have a Leeds United against Sunderland. Sunderland that won by the minimum 1-0 as visitors. Sunderland triumphed in the clash of the promoted sides at Ellen Road as Habib Diarra converted a 70th minute penalty to secure all 3 points. Leeds United controlled 70% of the possession of the ball, but failed to register more than a single shot. There was more than a few shots, but not big chances clear to score. Marking their second consecutive home game without a goal, The the Black Cats also moved comfortably to into 11th place with 40 points, while Leeds remains just 2 points above the relegation zone. Again, Leeds has 31 points. They're in 15th place, but they are just literally 2 points, 3 points from the relegation zone. So that means one game, a tie, and you can be bumped down or bumped up. It's just, it all depends how far can you bring the next few games for yourself to make sure that you don't lose that gap or you don't lose that advantage that you have in a way. But moving on, we have a Wolves against a Liverpool, a Wolves that surprised Liverpool in the final minutes of the game. A Wolves that won 2-1 against Liverpool, Wolves that win at home. In the upset of the week, bottom of the table, Wolves, bottom of the table, the last team in the Premier League. This is 20th place Wolves. Bottom of the table, Wolves turned the reigning champions with a 93rd minute winning goal from Andre Molineux. Rodrigo Gomez had given Wolves the lead before Mohamed Salah was able to equalize in the 83rd minute. Mo Salah that makes his comeback into the scoring sheet to tie this game for Liverpool, but it was not enough. And a Mo Salah that hasn't scored since November for Liverpool. But Liverpool league high trend of conceding late goals caused them again. And statistically, this shows that Liverpool have now lost 5 matches this season, 2 goals to score after the 90th minute, severely denting their Champions League qualification hopes. And this is the second consecutive win for Wolves, and only 2 losses in their last 6 games. Picking up the point at the moment to fight relegation. That's what a Wolves is doing at the moment. They're trying to pick up points to try they're trying to get points to try to get out of the relegation zone. But Liverpool have been struggling to close the games. 5 games getting scored in the last minute of the complementary time shows for sure that there's a lack of closing game. Is it mental? Is it physical? Are you not physically prepared to close these games that are going into this almost 100th minute, 95th minute, 97th minute? Um, so the question is it mental or is it the physical preparation that is not giving you that long range of sustaining the game itself? But Liverpool has 5 games that they have lost, getting scored in the 90th plus minute. A Liverpool that is currently in the 6th place. They have dropped out of European positions, and a Wolves that, of course, they win, but they are still stuck in the 20th place with 16 points. We're talking about Wolves would need at least another 9-10 points to be able to get out of the relegation. They are the bottom, so they have to make sure that teams like West Ham, Burnley, and Nottingham Forest, they don't win as much as they are, so they are able to get out of this 20th place, the bottom of the bottom in the table. Then moving on, we have an Aston Villa against a Chelsea. A Aston Villa that lost at home. A Chelsea that was as visitors 4-1. Chelsea delivered a statement with at Villa Park, of course, after starting the game losing. They were powered by a sensational Joao Pedro hat-trick and a clinical finish from Cole Palmer, although Douglas Luiz opened the scoring for Villa in the second minute, really, really early in the game, 2 minutes. Chelsea responded with 15 shots on target to overwhelm the Hull's high line. The result sees Chelsea climb to 5th place. Liverpool drops, Chelsea goes up. Liverpool lost, Chelsea wins. While Villa drops points in their quest to solidify the top 4 finish, Villa also, this is their 3rd home loss in 5 games. It sees them slip to 4th on a goal difference. Joao Pedro has 14 goals and 5 assists in 29 games. The young Brazilian is stepping. The young Brazilian is contributing. And this is a young player, and for him to have 19 contributions for his team in 29 games, not bad. Not bad. If he keeps going like this, pick up some chemistry, pick up some rhythm, he can definitely be a game changer for Chelsea next season. But in this Chelsea, who knows? Who knows if some players will stay? Who knows if some players will go? Who knows in this Chelsea? Right now, they have this squad. They have this, you know, set squad at the moment for this 25-26 season. But this Chelsea has been transferring players like it ain't no problem. But at the same time, this Chelsea had one of the biggest in history, the biggest loss when it comes to transfers. If you say money wise, they have lost on money in transfer, and it was reported in their tax. So for those that know about business, it was definitely a dent that Chelsea lost when it came to transfers. But a Chelsea that is currently in the fifth place, and a Aston Villa that drops to fourth on goal difference. Then moving on, we have a Brighton against an Arsenal. An Arsenal that wins by the minimum 1-0. Arsenal extended their lead at the top of the set with 7 points after Bukayo Saka's ninth-minute strike secured a greedy away victory. Despite Brighton's dominance in dominating the late possession with 11 total shots, the Gunners' defense, led by Gabriel, of course, held the firm record, another clean sheet. And manager Fabian Osula, he voices frustration over the weak refereeing and after several tactical fouls went unpunished during Brighton's search for an equalizer, and the strategic game plan from Arsenal, who were doing many things to slow down the game. Brighton was the better team in this game, and it don't matter if you're an Arsenal fan, it don't matter if you're a Brighton fan. I'm talking about the game. I'm talking about two teams. I don't support any of them. I just watch for the beauty of the sport, for what the game is. Brighton was the better team. Arsenal just has a whole different area of strategies on how to slow the game down. A Brighton that was better overall again, but Arsenal strategy helped them take the win. And Arsenal that statistically, some people don't like numbers, some people don't like to hear statistics. We are in a time where statistics do play a lot. But if you just base yourself of I like, I don't like, I agree, I don't agree, these are facts. When you talk about statistics, those are concrete facts. So in Arsenal that in this game, they wasted around 30 minutes in total. We're talking about, fouls, restarting play, resume the game after a foul, or throw in, or corner kick, or a goal kick. These are the things that we're talking about. They wasted over 30 minutes to resume play overall in the game. So in reality, we only had 60 minutes of actual football. It is really, this is one of those things that brings the point of Guardiola saying, I don't complain, I adapt, you have to adapt. I agree, you do have to adapt to the game. But do you adapt because you have to? Or do you adapt because it's also convenient and good for the system of which you play in? Or do you adapt just because? Just because. I think managers have to look into this. I know in the off season some managers will tweak certain things, but adaptation is not bad. But in this sense, it's just quality of the game goes down. The product is still there, but the quality of the game just lacks at this point because you are adapting into a strategy that just slows the game down, which is not what people are used to. This is not American football. This is not basketball, where the ball goes out, clock stops. there is 45 minutes, and yes, things can happen during those 45 minutes. And it would be really harsh to come here and now try to change the rules that have already been and what people are already used to in this game. You know, we have had VAR now for 3 years. We had VAR give situations that are very contradicting. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. Personally, I think it can be better, but it has not been introduced into the game the right way for people to be like, oh, okay, I see, this is helping. The integration of this is actually helping. But many times the integration of VAR has actually just made the game less attractive for some. And for those that, when you get the calls on your favor and you're supporting that team that gets the call, well, good for you. And that's what it is with this new way of strategy that certain teams are using, like Arsenal. Arsenal is definitely a great team, but they try to manage every small aspect of the game to the point where they take their time to slow down the momentum and preserve their goals if they are winning, and preserve the win in general. And in this game, I understand and I do agree with what Fabian has to say, Brighton's manager. But in this game, we have an Arsenal, of course, that is in first place, and we have a Brighton that is in 14th place, and Arsenal wins 1-0. Moving on, we have a Fulham against a West Ham that wins by the minimum 1-0. West Ham grabbed a lifeline in their survival bid with a narrow away victory at Craven Cottage. The Hammers sat deep and successfully frustrated Fulham's attack, eventually scoring a counter attack through Somerville that moved them out of the immediate drop zone on goal difference. Somerville, who has now scored 7 goals in 10 games, 7 goals in 10 games for West Ham. He's becoming an important contributor to this West Ham that has been struggling. A Fulham that remains in 10th place, only winning 2 of their last 6 games. West Ham is in 18th place, while Fulham is in 10th place. And West Ham that has won two, tied 2, and only lost 1 game in their last 5 games. I believe this West Ham is somehow picking up rhythm, but we still have to see how the next few games go. Your next opponent, you might have been able to play them once, twice, 3 times, but this Premier League is unpredictable. It's unpredictable. But moving on, we have a Manchester City against a Nottingham Forest. Manchester City against Nottingham Forest, a game that ended 2-2. Pep Guardiola's side stumbled in the title race as relegation threatened Forest twice came from behind the Etihad Stadium. New signing Antonio Semenyo and midfield Rodri scored for City, but a stunning backheel from Morgan Gibbs-White in a 76-minute Elliot Anderson level and snatch a vital point for the visitors. City dominated with 68% possession. They were denied a 90th minute winner by a stunning Murillo goal line clearance, leaving them significantly adrift of Arsenal. But they are now trail Arsenal by 7 points with a game on hand. So if Manchester City wins this game, that will go down to 4 points again. But at the moment, we see Arsenal escape with the 7-point gap. It was close. Now it seems far. And that's how this beauty of a game is. Sometimes when you're close and out of nowhere, it can just be as far. A Manchester City that is in 2nd place, and a Nottingham Forest that is in 17th place, exactly tied with points with West Ham, only on 17th place and not in the relegation zone due to goal difference. Moving on, we have a Newcastle Newcastle against a Manchester United. A Newcastle that won at home 2-1. Newcastle secured a massive home win in an electric atmosphere, dealing a blow to Manchester United's pursuit of top three. The Magpies display clinical efficiency, creating many chances with a 2.4 goal expectancy, with the closing goal from player Will Osula, while United struggled to convert their 1.48 goal conversion into more than a single goal. While Newcastle lost a Ramsey right before the half due to a simulation and then he already had a yellow, so then he gets a second yellow. He gets tossed out the game. Man United, who has struggled to find wins against 10-man team, which, as we know, is Everton and Newcastle. These are the two games that we see these Manchester United struggling to win. Teams that only have 10 men. And sometimes, yes, there is managers that know how to play a system with 10 men, making it harder for the adversary. And in this situation, Manchester United just is not able to cope with the 10 men Newcastle. And this victory moves Newcastle into the top half of the table. They are currently in the 12th place, and in Manchester United that is in third place, tied with points with Aston Villa. And the only reason why Man United is on top is because the goal difference. They have been able to score more goals. While United remains third, but is now 16 points behind the leaders Arsenal. They just seem far now. And this is the in this game, Bruno had his 14th assist of the season. He is racking up stats to show that he has been contributing. A player that from when the season started to where we are now has made a full difference, a whole turnaround, if you ask me, because I do have the acknowledgement of me saying, I don't think he's doing well. I think he's sluggish. He seems like he gets tired, but he has been playing offensively, and that is his nature, to be able to produce goals, to be able to create situations for the forwards in this Manchester United team to take advantage of that ability that he has. And ever since he made that transition, Bruno has been a different player. He has left the job to Kobe Mainu and to Casemiro to take care of the center defensive side. So that is a plus. And he's able to actually go with the nature of his attack. But now he reaches his 14th assist, and he's the player with the most assists in this Premier League. And this is the first loss for Carrick. It made United that they look steady, yes, but they still missing a better flow to move the ball. They don't look as fluid. They need more. They need to be a little bit more fluid with the ball and create more danger, and that means faster transition, better vision, faster movement of the ball from side to side. It needs to be a little bit more at a higher pace to be able to get the opponent out of the blue. So they are not able to, cope with how your game is. But if Man United, Carrick are able to find this flow of a game and creating more danger for the forwards, they can definitely turn it around and keep going with the momentum that they are. But this is the first loss for Carrick. And at the same time, we have this is funny though. We have Paul Scholes who posted something about Manchester United, but then deletes it. It's just funny because in this platform, at least, we judge the people or the players more in the clubs on what we actually know. There's so many news out there. There's so many rumors. There's so much crap you could say that comes out. People creating rumors and this and that. But there's only a few trusted sources. And then those sources that are trusted cannot be fully trusted because this is a game that is in the eye of the public, and some will create rumors out of nowhere. But when you have a legend like Paul Scholes posting such thing, in mind that he played with Carrick back in the day in this Manchester United, so they know each other. A footballer, a professional footballer, posts and deletes his opinions on this Manchester United. If you believe something, say it. And when you receive backlash, it's understandable if you take it back. But you gotta stand on what you say. Respect given to that. A legend giving his opinion, deleting it from social media, doesn't look great. Believe and stand on what you say. Believe on what you say and stand on it. But at the end, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own way of seeing things. It's football. But coming from a legend that played for club like Manchester United and play with this Carrick that is manager, it's just, it doesn't look great. But that's the world. That's the game. That's how it goes. Nobody is going to change it. It's just how it goes. But then we move on to the last game of this Premier League. Tottenham that lost at home 3-1 against Crystal Palace. A result largely defined by a 38th minute straight red card shown to captain Mickey van den Ven for a professional foul on Ismaila Sarr. After Dominic Solanke gave Spurs a 34th minute head, Palace exploited the man advantage to score 3 times in just 12 minutes, with Ismaila Sarr netting a brace and Jordan Strand Larsen adding a third during first half stoppage time. All the goals happened in the first half, and this is how the game stayed. The loss extends Tottenham winless run to a club record of 11 matches, leaving them in the 16th place, just 1 point above the relegation zone. While entering Igor Tudor faced sack in the morning chants from the traveling fans. It's really hard. Match day 28, I said it. This Tottenham has a dark cloud on top. Some players, they can be pointed out individually, get themselves in a situation where they just take away the equal opportunity of the game for Tottenham. Those players can be pointed out. There's several players in this Tottenham team. Injuries have not been kind to this Tottenham team. But the energy, the mentality is not there either. In football, we all want to play. We all want to play. No player that plays football wants to be in the bench. You will not find a player, a professional player, or at least a player that loves the game, say, yeah, I want to be in the bench. It's fine. For all of those players that have had to step up because of the injuries for this Tottenham, doesn't feel like they are giving their best. Or maybe chemistry, a doubt. Chemistry is not the best. But overall, this Tottenham seemed like the mentality is not there. The energy is not there. Individual players can be pointed out due to their performances and giving and taking away that equal opportunity on the game for Tottenham. You can find the problems. You can point them out. But the players that have been able to step up doesn't feel like they're stepping up. The opportunity is being given due to all these injuries that Tottenham has had. But the whole season just went from starting at a nice pace and trying to include some players, new signings, but it's just not working out. It's just not working out for Tottenham. They're 1 point away from the relegation, from the red zone, from the drop zone. At this point, if they don't wake up, if they continue on this exact same energy and mentality, the path is relegation. That is it. It's definitely relegation. And if Tottenham do go and get relegated, they will be losing around $261 million when it comes to everything that has to do with the game being marketed, advertised, whatever you want to call it, sales, everything. They will be losing around 260 million. And that's money. Money that keeps an organization, a business going on, flowing, keeping it alive. Tottenham doesn't only face a bump this season, but they also face a financial situation that, yes, is common sense. You get relegated to second division, yeah, of course you're gonna lose some partnerships, you're gonna lose some advertisements, you're gonna lose some marketing, you're going to lose certain things. But at the end of the day, it all has to do with money. And some players, they will probably leave the club too. That's just the honesty of this game. No player that has played in first division wants to go to second division. That's just what the game is. We all these professional players have the aspiration to play for big clubs, get the big paychecks. But no player wants to go to second division. That's just the truth about the game. But again, this Premier League has been criticized. The talks about this season is the strategy, how the game has developed, how things like long throws have overtaken the game, how teams like Arsenal have been pushing their strategy of slowing down the game for their benefit, how the game has changed, how the quality is not being distributed well, but the product is there. The quality of the game is lacking, the product is there, but we will see how this season closes and how managers pick up on this situation next year, next season. But in this match day 29th of the Premier League season, it delivered a major shakeup in the title race and European spots during a busy midweek schedule. League leaders Arsenal maintained their momentum with a clinical 1-0 win over Brighton, while Manchester City stumbled at home in a dramatic 2-2 draw against Nottingham Forest. Chelsea produced a result of the week by dismantling in fourth place Aston Villa 4-1 at Villa Park, thanks to the hat-trick from Joao Pedro, of course. And elsewhere, Manchester United suffered a setback in their top four pursuit with a 2-1 loss at Newcastle. And Liverpool fell to a surprise 2-1 defeat away at Wolves. The match week concluded on Thursday with Crystal Palace pulling more misery on struggling Tottenham side with a 3-1 away victory. A Tottenham that faces so many obstacles, moral, energy, mental. What can be said? Problems can be looked at, they can be picked at, they can be pointed out, but it starts with the club. It starts with the players. What do they want at this point? I said it in match day 28. At this point, you have to try for the club, for yourself as a professional player, but mostly for the fans. These people, week in, week out, they are trying to support. Without fans, there's no football. And when fans get tired, there's no club. There's no source of income. There's no money being created. There's no big bucks getting paid to these players. That's just what it really is. the reality of the game. Without fans, there's nothing, and fans will get tired. Tottenham fans will get tired. But this Premier League has football midweek. We won't see Premier League on the weekend. A Premier League that it will bring more football on the 14th, March 14th, which is not this weekend but next weekend, and that will be match day 30. Right now, at the moment, there is literally, technically, only 9 games left in this Premier League. Arsenal look like they're going to run with it, but some teams will have to adapt. Some teams will try to play the same game that Arsenal is playing, and they will give Arsenal a little bit of their own medicine. That's just football. That's how it works. Your strategy might be working for you. If I try it, it might work for me too. So we will see what this next few match days bring us in this Premier League, and if Arsenal takes this Premier League. But at the moment, Arsenal run with 7 points in gap. In Manchester City, that is 7 points behind. In Manchester United, that loses but stays in third place. And Aston Villa, that loses and stays in fourth place. A Chelsea that gets bumped up to fifth place. And a Liverpool that drops to sixth place. But this is all for this Premier League. Para esos que no saben, for those that don't know, esto es Pase Ambidiestro, Ambidextrous Pass, Fútbol Honestamente, Soccer Football Honestly. And thank you for being with me here today. And if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you.